This is Spurs Rewind. I'm Vickie Villarreal, and I'm joined today by Rocky Garza Jr. How's it going, Rocky?
It's going good. I just got off work and was not gonna make it home as everyone usually sees me in my room, so I'm doing this from my car.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you could join us. Either way, I'm glad you're here. So there's definitely lots to talk about, Rocky. As everyone who watches this will know, the NBA trade deadline has come and gone,
Hmm.
and the Spurs actually made some pretty big moves before the deadline. So just for a little breakdown of that, the Spurs received Dewayne Dedmon a couple days ago for an undisclosed return from the Miami Heat, or the Spurs received him from Miami for an undisclosed return. But Dedmon has now been waived by the Spurs. The Spurs also sent beloved Jakob Poeltl to the Toronto Raptors for
Days.
Khem. I know. I'm really sad, but yeah, they got Khem Birch and is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Khem Birch and 2024 first round draft pick, as well as 2 second-round picks. They also sent Josh Richardson to New Orleans for 4 future second-round picks. So now, obviously, the Spurs are collecting picks. I read that they now have 23 future picks in the drafts between now and 2029. Yeah, now in 2029. So, what do you think they're doing with all of these deals? What's the deal with collecting all of these draft picks?
Well, before I add to that, I don't want to jump on your toes, but they did add Devonte Graham from the Pelicans, but
Oh, yes. Yeah.
he's probably not part of the future, so it's okay. He's a good 3-and-D wing. I mean, it's fine. I personally like him, but I don't see him being part of the future. He has a high cap hit, 11 million, but that's a different story to talk about. But regarding picks, man, I mean, I think they're going to invest in their future. And people will look at it, why do they have all these picks? But I mean, let's say hypothetically, they get better down the road, ideally, and they have other teams' picks. That's just going to benefit them more and down the road. I mean, teams are bound to go through ups and downs. Injuries happen. A good team goes down real quickly, and they get a high pick. So they're just stockpiling those picks because you don't never know what's going to happen with those picks down the road and what players they're going to be eyeing. I mean, it's good. I'm glad they're really investing into their future instead of just kind of just staying stagnant as they were before, chasing play-ins and chasing playoffs. I mean, yes, we love to see them go in the play-in and contending, but I mean, eventually you had to go reinvest in your youth. And I love what they're doing, and they're really going full throttle towards it. So I think that's what they're going to be doing. The real interesting is, like you mentioned, the second round pitch. Like, I never saw 5 second round picks getting traded. I'm like, 5 second round picks?
Yeah.
I don't know if you were like freaking out. You're like, how are these people getting all these second round picks? They're just
Yeah.
throwing them around like nothing. I'm like, what the heck? But before we move on, I think I saw Jeff and Donald tweet about it, and Noah Amarago George. They were talking about how contending teams will have late first round picks and they want to trade down so the Spurs can, use those second round picks and move up in the first round. So it's kind of good business on what they're doing. So maybe we'll see that down the road, but I'm really excited about what their future is.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm guessing what I'm hearing from you, and this is also kind of what I've been thinking. This is obviously a long-term investment. The Spurs
Mm-hmm.
aren't planning on seeing any immediate benefits from these
Mm-hmm.
draft. I mean, sorry, yeah, this collection of draft picks and also these
Yeah.
releases of players. I know that I've seen across like Spurs Twitter, because that's where I see most of the fan reaction to this stuff. I've seen a lot of people concerned that the Spurs are, dealing out these veterans or players who have been with the Spurs. I mean, really, Jakob's the only one, but players who have been with the Spurs for quite a while. Um, what would you say to those fans? Like, what is sort of the word of comfort? It doesn't seem ideal, but obviously they're working on something, and it's I think, and I'm sure you're going to agree, this is in line with the direction that they're taking the team right now and trying to build for the future. And like I said, it's not an immediate satisfaction, and it's not going to be justified immediately. But what would you say to those fans to kind of calm their nerves, I guess?
Yeah, I would ideally, I mean, it's kind of cliche to sound, but just be patient. I mean, To me, what are the Spurs going to do to chase those big free agents, chase those people that are big names getting traded to big teams? I mean, look at the West. You have super teams for me. You have the Suns getting KD. You still have the Nuggets of the world, the Warriors, even though they're injured, Clippers, everyone. What free agents or people are the Spurs going to chase, and they're going to want to eye and say, you know what, those guys want to come to San Antonio. Love San
Yeah.
Antonio. I'm a San Antonio native. You are too, and but free agents don't see San Antonio like we do. It's not a big market. What do you gain from that? Yes, they have money to pay. You get paid, but I mean, these free agents aren't coming to the door. I mean, we can create
Right.
scenarios of where we can trade for KD and under Greg Pop, this and that. But then you got to think about it. How many years does Pop still have left? I
Yeah.
don't want to. I don't want Pop to leave, but I mean, eventually, good things come to an end, and things happen. So
True.
the Spurs got to really invest in the future and prepare for it, because eventually, those good teams, who traded and want to chase the title, chase now, they're going to be bad. I mean, look at the Lakers. Lakers are chasing
Yeah.
everyone and think on the road. I don't even know what picks they have. I
I
mean,
know.
at least the Spurs
Yeah.
have a future, and just be patient about things. I mean, it does suck. I don't like seeing my team lose, but things come back down the better. I mean, to kind of give an analogy and switch to a different sport just for a little bit, look at the Eagles. I mean, Eagles were in the Super Bowl several years ago. They broke everything down, and now they're in the Super Bowl again. Spurs were in a championship contention a long time ago. They're breaking everything down. Things are going to come back to life. So just have patience.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Do you think anything in this draft is going to be affected by all of this collection of picks? Do you think there's going to be some sort of trade done in the draft this year? I know that that's all just speculation, but what are your thoughts about what they could do if they wanted to improve something? Not
Yeah,
immediately, but closer to now.
I mean, ideally, the way they're projected, I think they're projected about 20 wins. You know, Even if you're projected with only 20, 21 wins and you have a top three odds, you're still not guaranteed the top pick. But even if they get a top, four pick, that's still going to be a guy that's going to be one of the better prospects on your team.
Yeah.
Is he going to, bring you a dividend where you get, maybe 10 wins, 15 wins more and improve your team? Possibly. But let's say the Spurs want to get greedy and they want to have two high picks. Maybe those picks down the road, they combine them and they move up. You don't know. Spurs have ammo to do it. You've seen, multiple teams do it. But people don't realize the Spurs have like multiple first round picks till like 2028. And,
Yeah.
if I'm those people that are complaining, I would use all of that energy and put it towards negativity towards Charlotte and Atlanta. You
Yes.
better hope they suck, because then we can get higher picks.
Yes,
But who
exactly.
knows? Who knows? Like you said, it's all speculative. But I think the Spurs you could see something made where the Spurs have two high first round picks, and I mean I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm just double checking, but yeah, they have multiple first rounds through 2028. That's right. So that is a big deal. That is pretty big. Even if they don't use that in some sort of trade package eventually down the
Mm-hmm.
line, those, like you said, it's going to be big investments as we continue going down, watching the Spurs develop and grow over the next, I guess, 5 years, 5 or 6 years. Yeah, I get so confused.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I know it's crazy. Um, this talk about the current nature of the team kind of, I want to bring it back to that. And I'm just going to give a little recap of the injury report for tonight's Friday's game. We're recording this on Friday. So tonight's game, Trey Jones is out with a foot injury. Romeo Langford is out with a thigh injury. Keldon Johnson is out with an ankle injury. And Sohan is out with a back injury. So is this something, first off, is this something we're going to be seeing a lot more of, like a lot more conserving players throughout the remainder of this season, at least, because really they're not trying to win? Is this something you think that Spurs fans should sort of get used to, seeing the rest of the season where there's not a full roster, there's a lot of, players resting? What are your thoughts?
I think you can say yes and no. I mean, yes, in a sense, Pop likely knows and the players know, they're not playing for anything. I mean, but then I say no because they're very prideful, and Pop and the players openly came out saying, we're not tanking, I mean, obviously the
Right.
record says otherwise, But I mean, they're still going to get full effort and pride. You know, Pop is a very prideful guy. I'm sure if you're a Spur, you're a very prideful guy and you want to win. You know, you hate losing. It's a sucky feeling. But I mean, if Pop knows there's a player that's, you know, really hurt, why throw him out there? Why risk another injury?
Right.
You know, they're going to take a time and let them heal. I mean, there's no point of you throwing someone out, you know, for a
Right.
big game. Maybe it's on ESPN or anything. I mean, it does suck that all these players are hurt, so it kind of just decreases, you know, us winning. But then it's like, yay, better
Kind of
odds of getting
good.
first pick.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I'm gonna agree for the most part with what you're saying, but I do think the more that this is happening and we're seeing players out left and right,
Mhm.
kind of thinking it's more of a strategic tank. Like they are, maybe the players aren't intending to tank. They're always going to try to win. But because of that, you know, coaching has to realize, okay, what are we going to do to make this happen? So I think at this point, they're pretty close. They're close. You know, they've got, I
We,
can't remember what their
we need
odds
to
are
get a
right now.
we need to get a San Antonio woman to put Bruja on the other teams just so the Spurs can get the first pick.
I mean, they're let me check what the latest projection is.
I bet you like
Dang.
3.
They're still third. Went up to second for a little bit there, and they're third right now.
Who's the other two? It's
So
the Rockets and the Hornets. Is that correct?
no, the Rockets and the Pistons, but the Hornets are right behind. I mean,
Yeah,
they're fourth, but I mean,
that's honestly
yeah, it's pretty
it's
close.
crazy to think, you know, uh, like Rockets, Pistons, and Spurs. You know, we're once those perennial teams
Elite,
that were
yeah.
contending, and now we're all sucking now, and we have all these young players. But I'm like, eventually they're gonna come back. You know.
They are. They are. And yeah, it is interesting to see that pendulum swing. But I mean, it's crazy. This is the first time the Spurs have been in this position in like 25, 30 years or whatever it's been.
I'm sure Joe. I'm
Uh,
sure Joe remembers when they sucked.
yeah, the last time.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, he talks about that a lot.
he's
But
probably
yeah,
laughing
I
at me right
mean,
now.
I know we're not calling you old. We're just
That's funny.
kidding. Nah, Joe's awesome. So any final thoughts before we sign off?
Just will hope we get Wimby, but I am honestly more shocked that they didn't trade Doug McDermott as Zach Collins. I was really sad to see Josh Richardson go. I love the
I
guy, and you could
know.
tell he left San Antonio in a short time. But I'm excited about the future, man. I mean, it's really
Yeah.
exciting. But I guarantee we'll see more moves. I know the Spurs signed Gorgie Dang today for like the 10th
Again.
billion time. I don't know what he's gonna do. He's probably gonna get waived in 10 days, and it's like, all
Yeah,
right, come on back. See, I always wondered. I guess my last
exactly.
thought, like a Gorgie Dangle, a player like that, getting signed so many times, like how do you go with your living situation?
I
Like,
know.
do
He
you get an
must
apartment? It's
know. Yeah, like he
yeah,
must be sort of in the loop. Like, hey, like we're gonna waive you, but we're gonna sign you to a 10 day, and then renew your 10 day, and then renew another 10 day. Like he has to know, because like, yeah, what would he do? He's like, okay, I'm gonna, leave, find an apartment somewhere else, and then they're like, oh, never mind, you're staying.
I wonder if he lives here or he's just living with one of the Spurs players. Like, hey, bro, can
I've
I just
seen
stash
him
at
at
your place?
HEB before, so
Really?
yeah. I guess he doesn't just come in for the game.
With TCB?
It was over. I can't remember which one. It was on the north side somewhere.
I bet you
Maybe I can't remember.
everyone was like, who is this guy?
I know. I walked in and I was like, "Oh, that's Corgi Day." Yeah.
Did you go say hi?
No, I get too afraid. I get so like starstruck, and it's so bad because I wish. And then after the fact, I think, "Oh, this is something cool I could have said," But in the moment, I'm just like,
You're like, hi, I'm Vickie. Do you play for the Cowboys? I mean Spurs.
right? Yeah, exactly. Basically, yeah. I ran into Brett Brown in the summer, right before the season started, and oh my gosh, I totally freaked out. Like, I went to go like say hi and stuff. I don't even know what I said. He just looked at me like, It's so bad. Whenever I've been in the locker room, I can just, I can stand there. But if I have to like myself think of something and not ask about a game, no.
If it makes you feel better, when I saw Chip England at the Missions game, and I was like, "Hi, Chip." It was before he left, and I was like,
Aww.
first thing I said, I was like, "You're tall," and I was like, "Why would I say that? You're tall." I'm like, of course I would say that. You're like, wow, nice. I do have a picture with him though, but
cool.
Yeah, he was the nicest guy ever. Chip had said, he has love for San Antonio forever. It just things didn't work out, But he's gonna have his family all staying here. So shout out to Chip England though.
Yes, I love Chip England. Like a cool fun fact before we get off. When I was little, I don't know how old, I went to Spurs camp. And he was one of the guests, and they do like demonstrations with the kids, like have someone come up to do like, to show off form for a layup or something. And he pulled me out of the crowd to do that. And I was just like so starstruck. I was like fangirling 100%. And he was just like, she was smiling at me when I came in. So I picked her to do this demonstration. And I was like,
You're like praying. You're like, please don't miss this. Please don't miss this. Please don't miss this.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I probably missed, but it was fun. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me, Rocky.
Of course, I love being in
your car. I hope you're home. We're almost home.
I was.
Yes. Well, thank you, and once again, thank you all for watching. Keep an eye out on Spurs Twitter, or actually on Project Spurs Twitter. And I'm on Twitter as well at the Vickie Vix. And I'm sure Joe's going to put this on, so I don't know why I always say it. But Rocky, you're on there at Rocks
Junior.
SJR, right?
Yep. There we go.
Rocks JR. Yes. So thank you all for watching. Be sure to check out projectspurs.com for up-to-date Spurs news. And for me and Rocky, we'll see you next time.